The French Open is one of the oldest championships in golf. There are many famous names on the trophy, but as yet, not this one. And Colin Montgomerie will have to putt better than he did yesterday despite an opening 71 if he's to right that omission. Jarmo Sandlin performed admirably in his opening round, a 68 that contained no drop shots at all. If he made that putt at his closing hole, would have been a 67. Arnaud Massey, the first winner back in 1906. Could Jean van der Velde take up the baton for French golf? A first round 68 and a repeat today will have the crowds rolling in at the weekend. But a surprise first round leader. He was surprised just to be here. Should have been in the Challenge Tour. When Silvio Grappasoni dropped out, Alberto Benaghi from Italy stepped in. 4 birdies in a row from the 12th and opening 66. Novotel Perrier opened to France back at Golf National on the southwestern outskirts of Paris after a 1-year trip to Bordeaux. It was a cold, chilly day. Good scores were hard-earned. Former winner Miguel Angel Martin at 69. Van der Velde with his 68. A strong Spanish challenge. Sea and Roca at 5 under, one behind Benaghi at the end of day 1. And coming up, 3 hours of the best of the European Tour, live from France. First, bit of a weather forecast, because it does have a bearing on what you're going to see. At the moment, as you can see, the sun is shining. The forecast yesterday predicted widespread thunderstorms. Fingers crossed, they're not arrived yet. We did have a delay of an hour and a half of fog this morning. That means that we're probably not going to see our feature groups finish, but let's look at the leaderboard, and there's been plenty of activity. Anders Hansen out fairly early with a round of 65 to set the pace. Fernando Roca also at 9 under with a round of 68. Then came Jonathan Lomas with the best of the week so far as 64. Lomas, who has a birthday on Sunday, early present really, back in 30, and hit 5 birdies in the last 6 holes. The target set, and in hot pursuit, the ever consistent, the admirable Jarmo Sandlin in his Rupert Bear trousers, but don't that distract you from an excellent performance. This is for birdie at the second, par 3, cross water, and Sandlin all but hold his second shot at the first for an opening birdie. And quite remarkably yesterday, he hit every fairway in regulation, he hit every green in regulation. The first time that's ever been done on tour. And the pressure perhaps mounting because he's hit the fairway at the first, and he's hit both the greens so far, also in regulation. He's playing, of course, with Colin Montgomerie. This is Brian Davis, last week's winner. At the 3rd hole, par 5. Started so far with 2 straight pars, a 71 yesterday. Looking at some of those morning scores, Andrew Coulthard a 68 to lie at 7 under. Søren Kjeldsen a 69, just completed. Watch Peter Baker, who was so good with the putter last week. Seve Ballesteros a 71, so he's made his first cut of the year, 1 under par at the halfway stage, but he finished double bogey par 5 at 8 and 9 when he was looking as if he was going to be rather better placed. He played with Michael Campbell, who had around a 66 despite dropping his only shot at his closing hole, the 9th. He's at 8 under. And Jean van der Velde, a couple of 7s, double bogeys on Jean's card, a 74, not what he was hoping for, but he's through to the weekend at 2 under. This is Miguel Martin, who won this title in 1992. It was Miguel's first win on tour. He was 38 last Tuesday, 3 days ago. Second hole has a little shorter today. They've moved the tee forward some 22 yards, so it's playing 178. Perhaps not the finest green on the course. There were a bit of a fusarium disease on some of the greens during the winter. Not surprising in many ways. Northern Europe, one of the wettest Aprils on record. And all things considered, this course in pretty good nick this week. Sadler remains at 5 under. Colin Montgomery, by the way, playing just ahead of this group, starting par. Poor start for the defending champion Retief Hussain, starting bogey and is 3 over and in early danger of perhaps missing the cut. This is Thomas LeBay at the third, just coming off a 2 at the second, and a round of 74 to or 75 to open. And that was so close to an eagle. So back-to-back birdies for Thomas LeBay. He gets himself to 1 over now as we go back down the fairway on this par 5. Second shot for Colin Montgomery. Confirmation that the conditions are much improved. Monty started with a crew neck sweater on. That's come off. It's a very pleasant May Friday afternoon. Monty will be looking to get the putter working today, possibly a new putter in the back. Now here's Retief, who's not only defending the title that he won last year in Bordeaux, but of course 3 years ago in 1997 won the French Open on this very course, so got a proven record. Just waiting, there's a aerodrome right next to the course. Iron to cover 251 yards to the pin. Right, I don't know if it kicks on. That's a little more like it. Costa Rocker really did struggle yesterday with the putter, mostly, nothing new there. 249 to the pin, going with the wood, not as strong or as long as Hussain is. Was plenty of club. Overnight leader Alberto Benaghi started the 10th this morning with a double bogey, got out in 38, back in 35, a round of 73, so 5 under, so slipping out of the limelight, but safely through to the weekend. This third hole, 530 yards. And Jarmo Sandlin. Those trousers, that style was all the rage in the late 60s. And remember, we had flares on them at the time, and not quite as many pockets. Remarkable that he's so accurate off the tee, because he certainly doesn't hold back. And there we are, yet another fairway hit. Benaghi at 5 under also on that mark. Nick O'Hearn after a round of 70. Soren Kjellsen after a 69, as we told you. This is Francisco Serra, one of the early pacemakers yesterday morning, a round of 67 on that occasion. And Serra slipping back after an opening birdie. He just bogeyed 3 holes in a row. So a chance to bring you up to date if you've just joined us for the second round of the Open Novotel Perrier de France. This was Seve Ballesteros, who was all over the place yesterday and somehow managed to return a putt a round of level par. And the main reason was the putting, and he was at it again this morning, let me tell you. With his second to the 8th hole, his tee shot at the par 3 coming up rather short. At this stage he was 3 under, going well. starting to lose his cool. He'd worked so hard for his score. Double bogey 5 and the par 5, 9th, his closing hole. So close to a 4, but to tap in for a 5. At around a 71, the first cut made for the weekend. Sharing 43rd place at the moment, but the expectations might have been a little higher after 16 holes of his second round. Final hole for Alberto Benaghi. Pin high in 2, a little kinder pin placing to tap that one in for a birdie. Back in 35.73 as we told you. Andrew Coulthard laying up at 18. Was out in 32, dropped his only shot of the round at 16. And one setting up a birdie chance. His closing hole. Scott's been struggling with his putting recently. One way to cure that, hard work. And hard work pays off. 68 for Coulthard, 7 under. Now Michael Campbell won the schedule opening tournament back last November in the Johnny Walker Classic. It was his first win on the European Tour. His second came at the Heineken Classic. He also won the Australasian Order of Merit and the New Zealand Open for good measure. He's back after a long break on the European Tour and certainly back in the groove, using all the contours of the 7th to set up a birdie. Now that stage 9 under. Just one blemish on the round. Almost in for a birdie, but he missed the putt back at a 6. And a 66, 8 under. Anders Hansen had been out fairly early after a 95-minute delay for the early morning fog. Birdie at 18, 65, and Hansen at 9 under in a share of the lead. And he was joined by Fernando Roca, the 31-year-old from Barcelona, who's twice been second on the European Tour, seeking his first top 20 of the year, having come out once again of Tour school. Roca a round of 68 to share the lead at 9 under. Let's just take a look at this as an opener from Jarmo Sandlin. The first hole, 416 yards. Don't come much closer. Roger Davis, this time next year, will become a senior, will make an absolute fortune. He's not finished with the main tour yet, 7 under. 3 holes to play. The Iceman, Andrew Coulthard. Campbell with his 66, looking for win number 3 of the year. Jonathan Lomas got married in the winter, won the Mauritius Open, and in fine form this morning with that 64, the best round of the week so far. The very studious looking Fernando Roca, born in Morocco. Sharing the lead with the Dane, Anders Hansen. That brings you up to date, and I hope you're au fait with the situation. And let's say a slightly disjointed day. We're going to see the good news is we're going to see plenty of Colin Montgomery and co. The bad news is we probably won't be around in time for them to finish. Well, applause from the gallery, but Monty won't be particularly happy with that. The second hole in the row, he's found sand. Got up and down at the second. Take a look at this second dangerous tee shot across the water. Not much breeze. Yeah, in the region of a 5 iron for Miguel. Couple of top 10s this year. Shared 12th place last week in Girona. 22 wins in Europe for Colin Montgomery, and 23 times he's been second, so goodness, he could have won everything. Well, most things for the last 7 years. He's never won this title. Not the sort of putt that will build confidence in Monty's mind. But he needs 67, 68 today just to keep in touch with the leaders. Peter Coleman on the bag, you may be wondering why. Well, Alistair McLean, Monty's regular caddy, is on the honeymoon somewhere in the world. I suspect he's not watching this, but he might be. And he's back next week in the Belfry for the B&H. And Bernard Langer will be playing, and then Peter Coleman will be back on the bag. And Constantine Rocker is due to play there, but you wonder how much more of this putting punishment he can take. It's a par, but it should have been a birdie. Just hearing from the course, that was a bogey and should have been a par, so it's a +6 for Rockham, with the cut looking likely to be around level par, perhaps 1 over, at the most 2 over. He's struggling. This is one of the driving distance holes. You see the red figure there marked in yards, and they use 2 of the holes where tour officials believe that a driver will be used, running in opposite directions if they can, so any wind effect is negated. Roger Vessels, by the way, is 5 under with 3 holes to play, finishing on the other side, or this side of the course, finishing at 9. Well, body language tells the story of the lack of applause. 1 more roll, 2 pars to start for Martin. Birdie here for Alex Chaker. He's gone to 3 under. Confirmation of 6 at the 3rd for Constantine Rocker, where Brian Davis made a birdie to get to 2 under. There's a view of the stadium part of the course, really. This course created at the end of the 1980s on the side of a former rubbish tip, and parts of it are very linksy in feel, even though we're some 200 miles from the nearest ocean. Driving distance on this hole, 312 yards, and on the fairway for Yarmo Sandlin, so around about 250 to go. You can see how Linda, the caddy and girlfriend of Yarmo, stands opposite. I think you probably see if he still has the same draw at some stage, just to check alignment. Yarmo will look up and look directly across at Linda. So, there we go. Everything okay. Well, he started at quite a way left now. Is he cutting it back? He certainly is. Certainly is. And, yet another green in regulation with 1 to spare. He's allowed 3 shots in the par 5s. Low probing drive from the Goose. Bit of run on the fairways as well. Haven't seen too much of that in the last month. Fourth hole with that long bunker all the way up the left hand side, and 4 bunkers ready to catch an errant second shot. 27 birdies so far this week. 400 meters translates into 438 yards. Heading out to pretty well the furthest part of the course. So the leading 5 players have completed their rounds. Roger Davis with 3 to play. Roger Winchester's had a good season. Anders Hansen would have been encouraged by Brian Davis's win last week there from the same management stable. Expect Jarmo Sandlin to go to 6 under any moment now. David Parks a round of 68 today, and a good round from Eduardo Romero as well. A round of 67 for the Argentinian who won this title in 1991 at Chantilly. Angel Martin just on his way, likewise Alex Shaker, Robin Bird, Joachim Hageman, they are just making their final preparations. Jamie Spence, winner of Morocco, safely through to the weekend. It's a disappointing day, 74 for Jean van der Velde. Good to see David Guilford fit again and back on the tour second week. Bradley Dredge, the Welshman, again, has had a good season. Brian Davis, not easy the week after you've won, but his way hopefully to make the cut. Sebastian de la Grange, you may remember, shared second place. Challenge Tour player really, shared second place in Morocco, around a 70 today, so he's through to the weekend. Likewise Sevi Ballesteros, as you've seen. There's Monty with a bit of making up to do. That's Forsyth, a round of 71 today. And maybe at this early stage it's shaping up like Forsyth or Ian Poulter to make Rookie of the Year. Ian Poulter, by the way, after 77 yesterday, 68 today, so he's on +1, and that right on the predicted cut mark at the moment. Ricky Hansen was going pretty well yesterday until he fell foul of the 15th. There's Poulter on +1. Stephen Allen, 4 under yesterday at 68, but a 77 today. And a disappointing start for Stephen Leaney from 1 under to 1 over in the space of 3 holes. Rolf Muntz, the Qatar Masters champion, among those on +2 and may not be around for the weekend. Jarmo Sandlin playing with Jose Caceres and Peter Baker, both have started with 2 pars. Baker tied 3rd last week with Eduardo Romero in Catalonia. Been in the top 40 of the money list for the last 5 years. It's still only 32. Wolverhampton Wanderers fanatic will have been hugely disappointed. The 2-1 setback at Bolton on Wednesday night, which has ruled the Wolves surely out of the Division 1 playoffs. See that huge bunker on the left. That shouldn't really worry the player. The pin is over on the left-hand side, so bringing that bunker to play, if you tug it too far, but the wind slightly off the left, maybe trying to just hold this one into the breeze, or maybe even just fade it on. Right over the pin, and Constantine Rocker's already played and has a birdie chance. I don't think you find an Indian bookmaker with giving you many odds to of him making it.
Well, it's still up and again. Plays quite a bit up.
.149 yards, just an 8 iron for Monty. Let's right at it again. Glittering career began in 1988 when Monty was Rookie of the Year. Finished tied 11th here in 1997, opened with a 66. Monty doesn't spend too much time preparing, just 15 minutes. And understand that his game plan is just to take it one shot at a time, not think too far ahead. And just try and get into the birdie mode, but so far 3 pars. This is for eagle. Two-time winner last year of the Spanish and German. That just a fraction away, but it's another birdie and the 6 under. Not, I think even he would agree, the most elegant of players, but he's got a very strong mind. See how the course, stadium course really, with the access and viewability for spectators in mind as well. This is the headquarters really of the game in France. Golf National, 2 courses here, and a myriad of teaching facilities. Scores running through, 150 players. Bear in mind that the lead at the moment is -9 and the cut looks likely to be +1. Which means that at +3, +2, beg your pardon, Thurston has a little bit to do. But he made a move at the last. Can he make it 2 birdies in a row? Peter Baker, by the way, made his birdie at the 3rd. So did Jose Caceres. So did Yarmo Sandlin. Caceres 3 under. Baker 1 over. Sandlin 6 under. Roger Davis still 7 under. 2 holes to play now. Little left to right on this one. It's not like it. Talking now a little anxiously. Difficult. There's a little spur of fairway there. He may still be on it, or he may just have run through. But he has. It's the first fairway missed of the week. No, can Montgomery follow the goose into the hole? No. Local time in France just coming up to 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. 1 or 2 leaving the office early. 1 or 2 maybe calling in to watch the 2nd round of the French Open. Now I hold out no great hopes for this one, nor do I suspect does Costantina. Sad to watch. He's had a couple of years already of frustration on the greens, which managed to break at Galway last year briefly to win the West of Ireland Open. He has won this French Open title. It was back in 1993 when he beat Paul McGinley in the playoff. And in 1995 he led by 3 after the 3rd round, but collapsed to a final 78. Just hearing from down the course that I think Yarmo Sandlin on the fairway, so that's 22 down without a miss. already 17 because you don't count the short holes. Now ahead of the 5th, which runs back in the opposite direction of the 4th. Just a little shorter, 405 yards. The 3-baller, Brian Davis, Angel Cabrera, and here Thomas LeVay, who's 2 under today, 1 over overall after a round of 75 yesterday. Son of a doctor and a local man from Paris. Conflicting information from the course. All 3 balls are on the 4th, on the right, 2 are on the fairway, 1's not, and we wonder if that is Sanderlin's. Well, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a little look, shall we? Tension. It's on. Well, that's not his. There he is. There he is. Well, good 2 inches. He's not really concerned with the stats. He's just concerned with how far he's got to hit his second. Thoughts turn to greens in regulation.
Yes, the order. Baker, Gutierrez, Lewis.
5th hole. Not dissimilar to the 4th in many ways. Big waste bunker down the left-hand side. In fact, it's a bunker that they share. The unique swing of Colin Montgomery is I think the great thing without being a technical wizard, it's just the way it repeats and the tempo, the rhythm. It's high hands, perfect position at the top. He just flows through the ball. Of course, if he wishes to prolong his career, he can do that for a long time because he hardly takes too much out of himself on the range. Peter Baker, the one member of the Sandlin trio who missed the fairway and pays a heavy price. He's only missed it by a foot. And horrible lie. Rather embarrassing. One he rather you would hadn't seen. So even the pros occasionally get it a little wrong. Now, Jose Caceres, what a season he's having. Won, of course, in Dubai, the Desert Classic. 3rd in Rio. And top 10 finish the week after Dubai in Qatar. 6th in the Volvo order of merit at the moment from only 5 previous tournaments. Made the cut in every one. And was tied 3rd in this tournament at Golf de Médoc in Bordeaux last year. Precision. And yesterday this was the 6th hardest hole to find in regulation. That's from Immortals v Armo Sandwin. It was just another one on the list. There's a little bit of wind. Looks to be off the left-hand side and maybe into rather than helping. Of course, with the it's a fairly accessible pin. It's 19 paces on, 9 from the right-hand side. Another green in regulation, and not just in regulation, but right at the pin as well. Here's Roger Davis. This is for par at 17 to keep him at 7 under. Oh, what a pity, 6 under then. One of the morning starters completing his round. He's 49 on the 18th of May. Went out the back end of next week, isn't it? A couple of weeks' time, and so I say just the one year off the seniors tour. And they're in Turkey, the seniors, this week. The Challenge Tour playing in Switzerland, and the main tour in France, where Fernando Roca and Anders Hansen share the lead at 9 under. Roger Vessel's going well with 3 holes to play. Number 70 for the ever consistent Peter Lonard. John Senden had a run of birdies around the turn, 4 under with 1 to play. Rather surprisingly, the driving of Beddow has been a little ragged. That bunker on the left-hand side, that's a long waist bunker almost that separates 4 and 5. Retief's got 144 to go. Constantine Roca the longest from the tee, and it's about 20 odd yards closer. Likely to make it 3 birdies in a row. Now 133 yards for Colin Montgomery. In 8 or 9 iron. Again, straight up. It's just that fraction out. This is only his 5th appearance on this year's European Tour schedule. That includes the Masters of Augusta and the Anderson Consulting in California. So still a little rusty perhaps. 126 yards for Constantine Roca. Surely just a wedge. When there's not a lot wrong with the long game. Peter Baker for par. Number his 2nd. Half top, half skimmed along the fairway. Baker will slip to 2 over now. Guillermo Sandlin beat Retief Gussen in last year's German Open in the playoff, and there's no doubt that Gussen, well, T. Green was playing the better golf, but Sandlin was so strong with the putter, he made any number of saving putts. When the pressure was really on, had the answer. See the change in putting shot? No, now he squares the feet up. If this has got the pace, it's got a chance. Well, he will have to take those when they drop and accept it when they don't. There's nothing wrong with the rest of his game. And not a lot wrong with the putting. Almost 33 next Wednesday. 4 wins on tour, 5 times being runner-up. Is not quite the tallest player on tour, but he's giving Robert Carson a run for his money. Scott Rowe, who's 6'5". And he's playing just an feature groups. He's on the 8th. As we go back to 5. Scott Rowe, by the way, 6 under. He started with 4 straight birdies, 3 pars since then. Not quite hidden hope. There we are. Just when you least expect it. Come on, look pleased. 2 under. On his way, maybe. Got it right at his end, and big swing on this one. Probably the least makeable of the putts he's had so far today. But never in doubt, turned towards the hole and was always dead centre. £100 on the right doesn't really worry these players. On the left, maybe more in play. Yarmo Sandlin back on the tee. John Senden, by the way, the Australian, in round of 67th. He's at 4 under alongside Roger Winchester, who finished with a 71. This looks like the 3 wood should make the fairway with this. I don't know how many of the crowd are perhaps aware of this ever lengthening record. There's now 23 holes without a fairway missed. There's Scott Rowe. Looks like another par. So Rowe will stay at 6 under. As Retty Thurston drops a shot. Gil Cabrera tied 21st last week. Three times second on tour, and just starting to become overdue a win. Now here's Brian Davis's dad. Only kidding. Roger Davis, 18T. Old enough to be there. Good drive, brings the green in reach in 2. Plenty of water, and Jean Van der Velde was among those who found the Niagara this morning on his way to a double bogey 7. An area of outstanding natural beauty. That's about as good as it gets. It's mostly industrialized, but shut that out, and it's a wonderful golf course. You could be right by the seaside. Now Thomas Levay is quietly laying the foundations of a very good round indeed. And there we go, there's yet another birdie. Gets him to -1, and that's 4 birdies in the opening 6 holes. 31-year-old, also from Paris. First French winner on home soil when he won in Cannes in '98. That's since Jean Garialdi won this title way back in 1969. Davis 25, so 24 years younger than Roger Davis, 4th year on tour. Currently 7th on the Volvo Order of Merit after that win in Spain, which is a culmination of a very good start to the season. 3rd place in Portugal, 5th in Qatar. This is the way that the 5th hole is playing. Yesterday proved the easiest green to hit in regulation. Thereafter, it got a little tougher with the putting. Often the two are directly related. Stands to reason if you hit the green in regulation, chances are you might be a little further from the hole. If you're missing it, chip and a putt brings the putting stats down. Yep, there's another one. By his standards, not quite so good, but he's missed it on the safe side. He'd really take this pin on, and the breeze across as well. Very easy to slip across to the left-hand side and miss the putting surface. Jose, 36. A family of 11. So we're talking about if you really went to the pin, how easy it is to miss. That's just 4 paces in from the left-hand side. A bunker shot now for Caceres, which ought to be routine, but he'd rather have been putting for birdie. Heliotto has played 3 holes of his 2nd round and started with a par, then double with the 2nd, the short hole. Birdie at 3, the par 5, so 2 over at the moment. Caceres' ball lying fairly well. Alex Chaker a birdie at 2 and at 3. He's got to 4 under. There's the Volvo Order of Merit at the moment. Michael Campbell with 2 wins, and with first prize today or this week of over £100,000. Probably wouldn't quite catch Ernie out if he were to win come Sunday. Gary Orr's not here. His wife expecting their firstborn, so he pulled out, which let Massimo Florioli in. Florioli was going to be the replacement for sponsors Invite Grappasoni, so Alberto Benaghi got the Italian vote and made the most of it yesterday with the 66, a 73 today. Caceres and Davis up there as well. Philip Price takes a week off. Lucas Parsons looks as if he will miss the cut. He finished something like 6 or 7 over. It doesn't really matter that much. He won't be here for the weekend, sadly. Colin Montgomery in 23rd place from just those 4 appearances so far. But he's entering a long stretch of tournaments. He'll be defending the B&H Trophy next week, and then he will be in Hamburg for the Deutsche Bank SAP TPC, where Tiger Woods is defending. Don't miss that one. And then the following week in a run of big money tournaments is the Volvo PGA, the most lucrative event on the tour, on the regular tour schedule at Wentworth on the West Course, and again Monty will be defending. I'll be joined in the commentary box on that occasion with with Dennis Hutchinson looking forward to that. No bunkers on this hole. As Retief comes in from 138 yards. Just a smooth, easy 8-iron, and chance to get that shot he dropped back. He hasn't had a par yet. 3 bogeys, 2 birdies. Pin 29 paces on, and 4 from the right-hand side. And Monty can actually see the bottom of the flag, which is rare. There's green on 3 levels, and this is in the middle. Quite a good angle in. He comes over that first, and again right on for distance, and you'll be able to give Retief Thurston a little bit of a clue on when it comes to the putts. No birdie at the last for Constantino Rocca, no surprise. Don't think he likes that one. No, either all 3 there or thereabouts. Now, news from, of course, not good news, I'm afraid, for Scott Rowe. Those of you watching in Hong Kong, where Scott grew up and played his first golf, for double bogey 6 at the 7th, so not 6 under, sadly 4 under. Bad news if you're watching in Puerto Rico, where he was born, in Canada, where his parents are from, or America, where he has his passport. Under, still the mark. Sandlin to close within 2. Again, good pace on this one. Good pace. Oh, and he's adding putting precision to the rest of his game, and that could be a winning combination. When Sandlin gets to 7 under. 3 birdies in the first 5 holes. So there he is in the share of 5th place. Roger Bessel, as you can see, has now finished his round at 5 under. And he'd missed the last 4 cuts at our Roger after a good start to the season, so the man from Houghton safely through to the weekend. Not much in this one. It's a fairly flat part of the green, and therefore should be a reasonably straight putt. And oh, it's just a little swing there. Was a little inconsistent here. 2 years, rounds 2 and 4 were both 68s, but started with 74 and a 3rd round 73. It was quite hard work where he almost looked mortal. So maybe just on the left lip, maybe just outside left lip. This one just slide across the hole. There it goes. And is it turning? No. pace carried that past. Just a fraction too much. Well, I suppose Cost is due one at some time. But she's worried. Not too many mountains in this part of France. Oh. But you have to feel for it. I mean, sometimes he seems to get it all right, and the ball's no, I'm not going in. Pity. Well, the 3 woods out again, which is not the longest hole, 377 yards. Looking as he leaked that one away to the right. Is this the end of the run? It is. It's the end of the fairways here. Probably not the end of greens in regulation, because he's okay out there. One just drifting on the wind. Sandlin has made the he's made the most significant move of the second half of the draw out there, picking up already 3 shots to get within 2 of the leaders who remain Fernando Roca and Anders Hansen. Confirmation of that 67 for John Senden. Scott Rowe dropping 2 shots sadly at the 7th. Alex Chaker, 2 birdies, 2 pars over the opening 4 holes. Robin Bird, the 6'2" American from Austin, Texas. Dropped. No, he's 68 yesterday, wasn't he? So he's
uphill.
He's picked up a shot today. He was 69 yesterday. He's picked up a shot at the 3rd. Playing with Henny Otto. Brian Davis just waiting for one of his fellow competitors to play at the 7th. This is a testing par 4 of 443 yards out of bounds on the right, and a ditch, a water hazard, and fierce mounding, steep mounding on the left-hand side, and quite a tricky pin placing. 34 paces on, just 6 from the right. And Brian Davis has got 196 yards left. He's not sure. Here, it's me. There's Angel Cabrera walking across. So it's Thomas LeVay he's trying to communicate with. Coached by Tony Ziegler out in Florida. Spends a lot of time there. His girlfriend is from that part of the world. Or was last time I checked. Spot on for length. You can see how the flag will go, keep going. There we are, way on the right hand side. But that's okay. Brian Davis, having played and walking on, means that he is clear. You can see that fence which stretches down on the right. That's the out of bounds, and the really at 10 o'clock the drive needs to be on the fairway on the left hand side there. Anything to the right spells trouble. Now he's starting that up the left hand side, just running through the fairway but into the first cut of rough, and that won't present any real problems, or shouldn't do. Yeah, he's got around about 120 yards left. Might be a little fractionally more because took a 3-wood and wouldn't have got any run. So it might be closer to 140. Looks to be gripping down an 8-iron. Another green in regulation, so that run hasn't finished. Hit everyone so far, and that's 24 out of 24. So welcome if you've just joined us wherever you are in the world for round 2 of the Novotel Perrier Open de France. And the good news, if you're a Seve fan, is that he's going to be here for the weekend. Started at the 10th. Birdie at the 6th, and but for a sloppy finish double bogey, only par at the 9th, his closing hole would have been a bit closer than 1 under, but only one step at a time. Great hopes for Jean van der Velde after 68 yesterday, but a couple of 7s on 2 of the par 5s hit his hopes. And despite a strong finish, had to settle for a 74. Our surprise first round leader was Alberto Benaghi, who expected this week to be playing on the Swiss-Italian border in the Challenge Tour. Late call up to Paris, 66 yesterday, 73 today. Andrew Coulthard's been beset by putting problems in recent weeks, but he's worked hard to find a cure. He's heading in the right direction. Third shot to the 18th, par 5, where he had to lay up, setting up a birdie and a round of 68, and the Scots 7 under at the halfway stage. We had a delay of just over an hour and a half because of fog and mist. Michael Campbell, 2-time winner, already on tour this year, 3rd in the Volvo Order of Merit, using all the slopes of 7 on his way to a birdie, despite dropping a shot at his closing hole, a 66, and Campbell also well placed. 8 under for the Kiwi. Good start for Anders Hansen out in 33. But 4 birdies coming back, including that one at 18 in a flawless round of 65. And the Dane 9 under. And for a while that led. But he was joined by Fernando Roca, the 31-year-old from Barcelona. 67 yesterday, and despite 3 putts from there, a 68 today. So the target was set 9 under. Here come the chasing pack. Yarmo Stanley hit every fairway, every green in regulation yesterday. Did miss the first way and only just missed the hole at the opening. Third hole, 530 yards. Long iron for Yarmo. It's another green in regulation with 1 to spare. Two birdies in 3 holes, and at 5, 3 birdies in 5. Sanderlin's 7 under. So they're starting to get away from pre-tournament favourite Colin Montgomery. 2nd to the 4th. Birdie chance, but he wouldn't take it, so having missed the makeable putt, surely he couldn't make the long range. Somehow you knew this one would go in. St Monty 2 under, 5 behind Sanderlin. Birdie at the last for Roger Davis, around a 68, the veteran, also at 7 under. Scotland the brave. Campbell with the Scottish ancestry, and what a season he's having. Jonathan Lomas has a birthday on Sunday, 5 birdies in the closing 6 holes, an early present, 64, best round of the week. And 1 off the lead, sharing 3rd place with Campbell. Roker sharing 1st place with Hansen, Anders that is. We saw that Roger Davis finished 7 under. He had a putt here at 18th. This was just a little while ago, and this was for Eagle. Would have been around a 67, 7 times a winner on the European Tour in the long and illustrious career. And over yet again for 1 more summer. I suppose next year he may try his luck on the American Seniors Tour, but hopefully he'll find time to join the ever improving and ever strengthening European Seniors Tour. They're in Turkey this week, their 2nd event of the season. Tommy Horton looking to make it 5 Order of Merit wins in a row, and he'll have serious competition next year from Roger Davis, no doubt about that. So that pretty well the end of the meaningful action of the first half of the draw, and we'll concentrate on the afternoon starters. The cavalry look on. And Sanderlin closes to win within 1 of the lead. Horses for courses, maybe. 4 birdies in 6 holes, sensational golf. 7th might sort him out, but no, at the moment no sign of his run ending. Goosen or Hisson has found the middle of the 7th. Got 218 yards left. Started that one on the left, and I'm not sure that's coming back. It's only a 4-iron. Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. It's perhaps wrong side of the green. It's a long way from the hole, but the safe side. You don't really want to miss that on the right. And it's a 2nd hardest fairway and green to find yesterday. 2nd hardest on the course. With a 5-iron, a little bit flying. He's just gone for the flag and just missed on the right. Alex Jake has made a birdie at 5, 3 birdies in 5 holes. He's gone to 5 under. Keeping half an eye out for the German. The Rupert Bear combat trousers. To the 2nd hardest tee shot according to the Axel stats on the course. Thomas LeVay, by the way, dropped a shot here, so his birdie run temporarily halted. He's back to level par. Pars for Angel Cabrera and Brian Davis. And out the driver. Look across to Linda. Alignment correct. Crowd like it. And you can see why. Of course, when he won the Spanish Open last year, something like 98, 99 putts, first time that anybody had taken less than 100 putts. I don't think the drive is quite the 52 inches that he used to take, but he gets a very good position at the top. One to aspire to. If you're long and lean, maybe you like me, you're short and fat, you maybe have to adjust that, take it a little flatter, but everything through the ball. And you see with that sort of swing, sometimes if he's just out a little bit, It can be tricky, but nothing wrong. He's in the groove at the moment. Now, who's to play here at head on the 7th green? It might be Colin Montgomery, Retief marking. Retief's had that laser eye operation, and his girlfriend recommended it to Roger Chapman, who went under the laser or the surgeon's knife and came out and could see everything, and she saw a trophy for the first time in 19 years when he won the tournament in Rio. A sand wedge. Actually, second bounce, checking, and then just releasing. Beautifully played. Record of wins and seconds. He's 7 times in his career been involved in the playoff, including 2 majors. He's lost all bar one of them. The only one he was successful was against Ernie Els in Sun City back in 1996. That was the $1 million. But he's number 1 in Europe, 4 losses out of 4. Constantine has missed 5 cuts out of 6 this year, and the one check he made was a very small one for a share of 60th place in the tournament that Roger Chapman won in Rio. Don't worry too much, he's got to have a 2 million quid in the bank, and that's a lot of lira. But can't buy a putt. This is very welcome on my own in the world feed commentary box, and Andy Wild, who's only got one arm because he argued with his truck with the other, has brought in a cup of coffee and a cake. Thank you very much. Just bought me some sugar, don't need that. This whole, if you look across the man-made dune, looks classic links, maybe Birkdale, Southport, that part of the world up in Lancashire. Of course, the closing 4 holes around that stadium bowl with water involved, pure Florida. Back to 6 and Miguel Martin, who dropped the shot at 4. One eagle here. At the 6, somebody hold their second shot. This is Alex Jacob, who's made 3 birdies so far. There's Peter Lonard, who held his second at the 6 for Eagle 2 yesterday. Bit of a queue on the 8th. Colin Montgomery will have a wait. Very deceptive hole. Just a 1 pot bunker just to short. And the pin, though, cut right at the back. And still Jarmo Sandlin making the move of the afternoon, sharing third place with Michael Campbell and Jonathan Lomas, just one shot off the lead. Now this is a terrific sight to see Olivier Edmond out on a golf course. Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago when he finished tied second here in his national championship, but then, as I'm sure many of you are aware, contracted testicular cancer, from which he appears to have recovered. You can never be totally sure with these things, but he's back playing, feeling a lot better. And there the Nicholas Jokamides with Jean van der Velde, and the amateur Bruno Akuna sharing the lead for France. Olivier Edmond also at 2 under. Around a 70 for Sébastien Delagrange. And we have to go back to 1969. Jean Gavialdi for the last French winner of the French Open. Arnold Massey in 1906 was the inaugural winner. The year after that he won the Open over in Britain, and of course went on to win a total of 4 French titles. Not sure a Swede has ever won this one, but I will check. Jarmo Sandlin would become the first Swede to lift the French Open trophy if he does so on Sunday. No shortage of South African winners. Dale Hayes in 1978 and way back 1966. DJ Hutchinson. Labuli 268, good score. Tracking that one. I looked away for a moment. Did he hit the green in regulation? I'm rather taking them for granted at the moment. Olivier Edmond was 300. Just dropped the shot at 5, having birdied 4. Year-old. He's had a couple of top 20s, a couple of top 30s, easing his way back onto the scene. You notice how sensibly they're not with the Monty match. Extended look at Olivier Edmond while we'll wait for a bit of action at the 8th, where back up on the hill Colin Montgomery and Co are waiting for Cabrera and Buddies to finish this hole. Difficult shot for Rangel. Not much green to work with. He's 1 under at the moment. 7 straight pars so far. I'd be quite happy to make it 8. But he's not first to play. Thomas Lavey has tucked his tee shot a little further to the left. Just to the right of your picture. This is the 11th.
Come back as Pete Coleman. Lucky they call him. 54 tournament wins. Well, there has to be a few lucky ones in there.
But none with Colin Montgomery yet. Tournament wins. There he is, Peter Coleman. do with Bernhard.
Yeah. Good putt. Huge bones. Amazing.
It's a lived-in face, isn't it?
Not rocket science.
His mum loves him.
No, it doesn't appear to
It's
be.
good pay though, is it? Huh?
He's always moaning that Bernhard's a little tight with the
What time do you
percentages.
start? 11? What? Do you start at 11? Finish at what?
Fly on the wall. There we are, at least Jacob, he can find a putting touch, and he can be certainly a contender, and that is, what, 4 in the first 6 holes, and he's got himself to 6 under now, only 3 shots off the lead. And who headed the greens in regulation stats in 1998. Go back to the tee and eavesdrop and some more of that conversation, but more pressing action perhaps. Hit another green in regulation for Yarmo Sandlin, 25 out of 25. He seems to have got the birdie putter going, this for birdie number 5 and for 3 in a row, and for a share of the lead, so no shortage of incentive. Trying to surprise him. He'd given up on that one, 3 or 4 feet short, and it almost wandered back. As we've said before, you always take a 4 at 7. Thomas Levave to save his par at 8. Has already tapped in for his 3. Thomas, who played very well, Marrakesh in the Moroccan Open, finished tied second behind Jamie Spence. Stays at a level par. Colin Montgomery will be on it, back on the tee eventually. Warren Davis maintains his position, 2 under. Must have been up there the best part of 10 minutes. A little bit of breeze perhaps just getting up. It's at one of the high parts of the course. 212 yards from tee to pin. That's because the pin's are a long way back, some 24 paces. Five iron. Yarmo looks on. Has that gone left?
Kick right, quite good.
I should put a pull over on deer. It's getting a bit chilly up there.
Good looking shot.
4-iron for Constantina Rock, which he holds into the breeze. Back on the 70, Alex Chaker. 7th appearance of the year. He missed his first cut last week, but he's only 100th in the money list. Hasn't really been firing on all cylinders. Both Rocker and Hilson made 4s at 7. That's a golden opportunity for a 2 for the Goose at 8. The Sandling group, Caceres and Baker, they all made pars at 7. Cat still looks likely to fall at 1 over. 9 under leads. Cabrera at the 9th, par 5, 563 yards. Water down the left-hand side and within range as well. About 260, 270, you start to get close to the water's edge. So if you tweak your ball a little to the left. Dogleg from left to right, difficult angle for your second. Maybe a driver to a 3 would, but he's hit that a fair distance past Angel Cabrera, and Cabrera certainly no slouch off the tee. You can see the hole. There's the water on the left, and does rather run that side down towards the water's edge. No real respite on the right-hand side to be avoided deep rough. And now drive to about here, and you turn slightly right. It's a long, narrow green. Yesterday the pin tucked behind that bunker on the right. Constantina Rocker losing his second shot in what's quite deep rough. The pin today, 20 paces on, 3 from the left. It's a little kinder, a little more accessible, but you don't really want to miss on the left-hand side. Very little green to work with if you do. Not much green to work with the hole behind for Colin Montgomery. With Colin Montgomery's short game, that was as good as they get. All he has to do is hold the putt. Certainly a chip like that deserves a par-saving putt.
Did, of course, did a degree in Dublin and then
Wait, this time on the 8th for Sandling, Caceres and Baker. Because it all slows up if they feel that the 9th is reachable in 2. You have to wait for the par 5 green to clear, and that filters back. So no need for Alex Shaker to rush this one at 7. Safe side. exasperated on the 9th yesterday, and oh, there's a dog he was here yesterday. He's back. He belongs to a guy in combat gear, and he obviously loves his golf. He obviously knows his golf because he didn't go near Monty's match. Defending champion remains at 2 over.
Los primeros días la van a querer comer allá, los otros dos. Pero después pero primero la van a querer comer vivo.
¿Qué vas a querer jugar este tiro con Frey? Sí, por la derecha, no jugarle con el viento.
Nicely done. Good up and down. I hesitate to say keeps the momentum going, but keeps his hopes alive. Rocco remaining at 1 over today, but certainly the quality of his golf from tee to green better than that. Come on, it's the first green he's missed in regulation as well. Just coming up a fraction short. Should be able to chip a putt from there, but that's a pity. A lot of the groups were getting 3-hole scoring, and Henny Otto, I can tell you, having birdied 3, birdied 4 and 5, but has just dropped a shot at 6, but he's 1 over at the moment, level par today. He started birdie bogey par after 74 today, so remains +2. This is Miguel Martin for A3 at the 7th. And still, he's seeking his first birdie of the day. One go right. Big bunker out there, and he'd been happy to be in there. Now he's got a wretched shot. Deep rough, downhill, not much green to work with. I'll take a 5, please. This won't help Colin Montgomery's mood. He's a brisk player himself. But I think once they get through this 9th hole, then it will start to flow a little more. As I said, the problem really is people having to wait for their second shot, with the green being in range in 2 on the par 5. It's the view from halfway back down the the 7th. And, look just to the left there, you'd see the 12th. Cleverly laid out. Shaker to go to 7 under. This is for 3 birdies in a row. Probably the worst putt he's hit. He's got his Seve Trophy shirt on. Played at Sunningdale in the winning Continental Europe side. Formed quite a good partnership with Bernhard Langer.
I was shocked. It was me, I take it.
Well, it must have gone in. There wasn't much applause. I couldn't see it, but the computer shows it. 5 birdies and 6 holes, 7 under. Well done. 3 wood for Monty. And you would have thought with the 3 wood have found the fairway, but golf's like that sometimes. May not be able to get on in 2 now. Depends on the lie. So Monty's still with plenty to do. And it's Yarmo Sunderland who leads the afternoon challenge, closely followed now by Inform Alex Chaker. Colin Montgomery, 200 Seve, making his first cut of the year. Anthony Wall still suffering from a reoccurrence of glandular fever and still not as strong as he would like to be, but this is not the toughest course in the world to walk. Oric Johansson picking up a shot. No birdies as yet, 8 pars for Angel Cabrera. Steve Malini's got one back. And a correction to Matthias Grunberg's score. I thought he'd missed the cut, but obviously they've checked the card and it looks as if he's through. Just hearing from the course for you down watching in South Africa. Bad news for Retief Husni. He's hit his, hooked his tee shot at 9 into the water. It's going to require an outstanding effort on the back 9 for the defending champion to make the weekend. Justin Rose sadly missing another cut, a round of 76 today, and Mark Fowler, who in the past has quite often featured in the closing stages of a French Open, won't do so this year. Second shot for Yarmo Sanderlin, 1 shot off the lead. Par 3/8. Again, beautifully judged. Is it going in? Oh, tell you what. Doesn't really appear to be a weakness, though. A miscalculation perhaps with his tee shot. This is Brian Davis's fiendishly difficult third at the ninth. It's about 6 inches buried, downhill, really across it well. And that, although it's just onto the green, is very good indeed. That was just a moment or two ago. This is Thomas LeVay for an eagle. And the opportunity at the third hole as well. Should pick up a birdie. That will get him out in 32, 36 each 9, the par. The dog has got a little brave. We understand from the course that it's not far away from the action on the 9th fairway. Here he is. He's had a look and said, oh, I reckon that's Monty. I'll just creep over here. Yama Sandlin has missed one fairway, he's missed one green. He hasn't as yet dropped a shot in 26 holes. The only good news is he's par 5 to come and get that back straight away. 2 behind now. That's some 4. Would have been happy after that second shot, believe me, with a 5. He takes a 4, he's out in 34. Well, Monty obviously feels that he can get close into, so waiting back down there, just to the right of the fairway. Maybe he's also waiting because Costantino Rocca has to anyway. Peter Baker at the 8th of birdie 2, +2 now. Drop shot also for Jose Caceres, he slipped back to -2. As Thomas LeVay goes to -1. Good opening half. Still 260 for Colin Montgomery to the front of the green. Not much of it's over fairway. And then, well, he's got 280 to the flag, him being 20 paces on. I guess he wouldn't mind being in the right-hand bunker if he was pin high. Not sure how he could really get at the flag from that angle. There's some playing 3. Drive into the water. That's the Brian Davis spot. He may get a drop, just a question of distance. That may get line of sight, but it'd be very I would be amazed if he got up and down a la Davis. I understand Colin Montgomery was quite away right, and at best might just have got into the bunker. Great drive from Costantino Rocca, 342 yards. Maybe just a bit of feeling after missing all those putts. 220 yards or just under left. 4-iron, but he's pulled that away to the left. It's absolutely the right club for length. Peter Baker will have the honour any moment now. There's the yardage book produced by Graham Heinrich, and I've got one of those, and it actually says Heinrich 94, which is when he first did the measurements, and each year they've been able to use the same markers on the fairways, and nothing's changed on the course. And Peter Baker, well, he's okay, just to shield it from you. I think the 3 wood, so that he would take the run out into the water out of play. And he just managed it. No such holding back from Yarmo. He wants that shot back. So it looks like it might be the 3 wood, isn't it? Used to be out of town in the old days. The plates underneath used to be different than the good old days of Persimmon. Oh, I reckon the dog's in there. Well, now, that's how you hit just about every fairway. Is it that far? Someone throws it out for you. Bit of good fortune for the Swede. It wasn't Peter Coleman throwing it out. He's way ahead looking for Monty's ball. Now, this is where Costantino Rocca lost the ball yesterday. One advantage of being one of the best players in the world. There's Howard Clark working for our colleagues at Sky Sports, and he's the on-course reporter. And, I'm hearing him now and again and getting 1 or 2 yards. He's speaking to my colleagues at Sky Sports now, and he's just saying that they've found Retief Goosen's ball, but they're still looking for Montes. There he is. Howard Clark just say the Marshall just found Retief Goosen's ball. Howard Clark's always had an interesting relationship with Marshall throughout his playing career.
That's the one we see come in, that's the one I see come in, Pete. Over there.
It's behind you.
You've got
The
it?
crowd have seen it. They've got the 1 ball, that's established. It's Montes we're seeking. Find that dog when you need it, can you? All of which is going to make play even slower. We'll just about get finished today. You found it now. He's allowed to
You can hardly hit that.
identify it. Horrid lie. The problem is there's a clump of thick grass behind the ball. Probably the best strategy will be to hit it into the bunker, then hope for a sandy and up and down for a par. Retief Goosen surprisingly has got a good lie. He's got a little lucky, which is why he's not considering line of sight. And there's the ball. That's the ball of Colin Montgomery. You can see the clump behind. So yeah, Retief. That's Retief's ball, and he actually would be entitled to a drop if he wanted it, but he couldn't. Surely, well, he couldn't guarantee a lie as good as he got. But this shot is far from easy. Ball a long way above his feet. Wish him well.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Back at the Yeah, this is Alex Jacob for 4 birdies in a row for a 2 at the par 3. Good pace on this one. Makes a birdie at 9, he'll be out in 30.
Big clump there, and I'm just going to come down and top him.
We got very lucky, could perhaps
Get in the bunker, I'm doing well.
chase it through the bumper. You know, he actually thinks he's doing well if he gets it into the sand. He's actually caught that a bit of clean and he's gone through. He'd have been better off in the bunker. But he had no control over that one. Just had the hidden hope. He looks as if he's going to struggle to make the cut. He's just dropped shots at 5 and 6. He's 4 over now. He's produced 1 or 2 outstanding short game shots, but that went over his shoulder. He had to go over that. Probably needs a shoulder to cry on now. So no luck for Colin Montgomery is back on the fairway. Yarmo Sandlin is waiting to take advantage of his lucky break. A few stretching exercises would be very easy. Maybe stiffen up, just hanging around doing nothing much. Miguel Angel Martin dropped a shot at 8. He's 2 over today, back to 1 under. We're all slipping out of the picture. Not that good a season so far. Best finish here 24th in Dubai, where he was round 2 or round 3 of 63. He's 83rd on the money list is Yarmo. 10th appearance of the year. Come on. Out in 37. I reckon at least 18 of those, maybe more, have been putts. Now on to the back 9, third shot of Brian Davis. Just hearing that Brian Davis into the water, so that was his fourth shot, not so good. Can Monty save par at 9? Deserve that. No one would begrudge him a par there. Audi 35. 2 under, 7 behind our leaders. Yeah. A rare single putt. That's a good par for Retty. Not bound to walk off with a 5, having driven into the water, so he reaches the turn in 37. We'll need to come back in at least 35. No surprise, Yama said, let's go for it. Now, if he got the length that a sort of low, slidey left to right shot would do, ideally, but that bunker on the right would be acceptable. Just a little look at the head alignment for. Oh, that's a beauty. That is a beauty. It could so easily have hit the pin and gone in. He carried it all the way. Well, we didn't see too much of Anders Hansen or Fernando Roca, but from what we've seen, I can't believe anybody's playing better golf than Jarmo Sandelin. There they are, Hansen and Roca in the clubhouse, but it would not be a surprise to anybody, least of all me, if come the end of play, Jarmo Sandelin might be a couple clear. He is playing quite magnificent golf, and Alex Jaker isn't far behind. Also out on the course going well, Scott Rose, Stephen Gallagher, Carlos Rodiles, who only got into this tournament. He's not a regular member of the tour this year. He's on the Challenge Tour, but he got top 10 in Girona last week, and that under the rule gets him in. Brian Davis, Haven going along reasonably well. Colin Montgomery escaping with a 5 at the halfway stage, so he's out in 35. With 3 wood off the tee at 10. Hole, 377 yards. Again, water down on the left-hand side. Brian Davis ahead on the green, looking to escape with only 1 drop shot. Constantine has been consistently longest of this trio off the tee, and that's saying something. Monty's no slouch, and Steve Hurson also gives it some ride. Deciding that Meadow Woods have been letting him down, going with an iron. Water down the left-hand side. It's the same water that he was in, because the water separates 9 from 10, and the hole is running in opposite directions. The pitch mark, and he possibly is not aware it could so easily have hit the pin and gone in for an Albatross 2 on the Albatross course. Peter Baker also pin high in 2. New sponsors, second year of our Novotel Perrier sponsorship of this Open de France. They used to run a tournament, the Pairs tournament, down in Bordeaux, which was one of the reasons that we went to go to Beddow last year. I think there's a general policy that they would try and move the National Open around the country where golf is becoming ever more popular. Eagle at 18 for Ian Hutchins, the halfway mark, out in 35, but he needs a very good back nine or second nine. He's 5 over after a 78 yesterday. Lomas, who shot a 64 once in the company of Stephen Bottomley, we mentioned yesterday, won the Perrier Pairs down in Bordeaux. They also played it a couple of times at St. Cloud, just along the road, a little closer to the city centre, and Sebi and Ollie won that one year. And Peter Baker with DJ Russell also won that title when Peter Baker freely acknowledged it was DJ who did most of the spade work. Baker's managed 3 wins on his own. No more supplies. Can't believe that's all for me. No, I gotta pick. It's a nice one. I'm gonna decline. Trained athlete. 37 days without alcohol as well. Can you believe it? He pitches up at the Belfry next week, he won't recognise me. Yarmo Sandlin for Eagle. Never going to be that slim or that good. He's a player who has the ability, the potential to be quite special. It's for a share of the lead. Forecast is set fair for the weekend, and conditions like this and the leaderboards such as we've got, big crowds. There's the French Cup final on Sunday with Little Calais. Got to the final. They're a part-time non-league side. Remarkable story. They'll be at the Stade de France on Sunday afternoon. As we watch Colin Montgomery's second into 10. That's the pressure of not putting particularly well. Means he has to put an extra premium on his approach play. Others still search for the answer. It wasn't the wooden clubs or the metal woods that were the problem today. It was really a shot that was a little heavy and short at 8, led to a double bogey. Hello. Everybody's got a theory on the service. I don't think technically it was perhaps the most correct ever, but he never used to worry about it. Just used to get the job done. Was perhaps less cluttered in his swing thoughts than anybody else. And maybe it's just a clearing of those away to free the minds, free the swing. Who knows? But certainly everybody would like to see him back on leaderboards again. It looked a possibility at one stage this morning. So he finished 5-5, perhaps dropped realistically 3 shots and back in the pack, but through to the weekend. Yamo reached the turn in 32 and is just 1 off the pace. And probably time for another 3, possibly 4 holes in this second round transmission. Some late swing for Narrative as he puts up from cricket pitch length. On 9, Monty just hit 3 fairways and only 4 greens in regulation. So maybe it's not his putting that needs that much attention, because he 12 putts on the front 9. Now that Monty moans, but most people would take that. Safe to say that Costantina made 2 rather more putts. I think his best hope is law of averages. Sense of perspective. Less than 200 yards down the left of the water. Hence the 3 wood. And the fairway split.
Never enough, is it?
Second shot for Alex Jacob to the par 5 9th. So he pushed that a little right, but into the sander though. Probably at least 30 yards from the hole. So this is the story of day 2 of the Novotel Perrier Open de France so far. Or part of it. Fernando Roca, 31-year-old Spaniard who's twice been a runner-up on tour. At the 18th, across the water. Well, did a lot of good work with 3 putts from there, but even so, 68 to finish at 9 under and join this man, Anders Hansen, at the top of the leaderboard. The Dane, a round of 65, 7 birdies, not a single bogey. That was birdie number 7, 9 under. After a 70 yesterday, 65 today. Michael Campbell's had about 12 weeks off. You wouldn't know to look at his swing. That one from the left-hand side of the 7th. Running. A very links-looking hole, a very links-looking shot. Led to a birdie. And although he would drop his only shot of the day at the closing hole of the night, a 66 for Michael Campbell, 8 under. 1 off the pace alongside Jonathan Lomas and alongside the super Swede who missed a fairway, didn't miss a green yesterday, started in similar mode today. A gimme birdie at the first, and he would add further birdies at holes 3 and 5. Now he would miss his first fairway of the week at the 6th, but he didn't miss the green or the putt. The only drop shot so far came at the 8th, where he was short off the tee on the par 3. 2nd and 9th, he said to Linda, his caddy, "We'll go for this." And he meant it. Two putts from there, out in 32. He's not the only one making headway in the afternoon. And he's taken the first 6 holes and made 4 birdies. That's his second from just under 200 yards to the 7th. In she comes. I wasn't sure what happened to this, so I'm grateful for the chance to have another look. Disappeared in there. Behind the head there it was 3 birdies in a row, 5 in all, 7 under. Conor Montgomery moaning about his putting. Oh, why me? Mind you, front 9 he only had 12 putts, and this was one of them. At the 5th. All sorts of trouble at 9. Carved his second away into an impossible lie. Couldn't get out of there, could he? Good. And then some. Up and down though for a par 2 under, 5 behind Alex Chaker. And Roger Davis, just a week short of his 49th birthday, around a 68 for the Aussie. Andrew Coulthard looks to have solved his putting problems, a 68 to go with yesterday's 69. Yarmo at 8 under and looking a good bet to be the overnight leader in an hour or 2. Michael Campbell looking for win, number 3. Started winning beginning of the year, he can't stop now. Jonathan Lomas, 5 birdies in the last 6 holes, hit 64, best of the week. Roker 67 yesterday, 68 today, and Anders Hansen sharing the lead for the round of 65. So to 11, 192 yards on the card. Pin cup fairly close to the front of the green, just on the right hand side. Right over the flag. Only a wedge for Yarmo Sandlin, second into 10. Still, he's only missed the 1 green. So let's take a leisurely look through. There's Roker and Hansen at the head of affairs, Sandlin and Chaker out on the course trying to close the gap. Scott Rowe at 5 under despite a double at 7. And Sven Struve, David Park all in contention at 4 under. Carlos Rodiles top 10 last week and making the most of his opportunity to play this week as well. Joachim Haben soon won't be relying on sponsors' invites. David Guilford, good to see him back and not too far off his best form. A lot of Frenchmen, Nicolas Giacomedes, Jean van der Velde, the local favourite at 2 under. Conor Montgomery on that mark as well with Jean-Francois Lemessy and Olivier Edmond. Robert Carlson back on the European Tour after playing quite a bit of the early season on the Pie.com Tour in America. Seve, with 2 holes to play this morning, was 3 under, slipping back into the pack. Getting down towards the cut line, 70 go through. Remember that's 70 pros, and a couple of amateurs in the shake-up at the moment. Might just let 1 or 2 pros in. Like Stephen Leaney, Des Smith will be looking for strong back nines. There we go. At the moment, the cut is just at level par, which is perhaps bad news for Ian Poulter, who really rallied today with a 68 after a 77 yesterday. Stephen Allen, after a 68 yesterday, headed in the opposite direction. These players at 2 over, not much hope for those, I'm afraid. That includes Jared Mosley and the Qatar master, Rolf Muntz, and maybe Retief Husson, who's just outside the weekend, but of course with holes to remedy that. And the sooner he starts, better. And here he is looking for a 2 at 11. Just a bit of a hop and a skip on greens that are, it has to be said, less than perfect in places. No one's real fault. It's occasionally that's the way the weather gets you in Northern Europe. And, we've had a very wet April. But they are the exception rather than the rule. There's no doubt that conditioning of the courses for the European Tour have made great strides in the last 2 or 3 years. And just hearing from the Howard Clark you saw out on the course, hearing in my ear, there's a few cracks of rumbles of thunder in the distance, as was forecast, so we may be getting a premature end to round 2. And so Alex Shaker gets no grip at all out of that bunker at 9. Not for the first time today, Yama Sablin has a putt for a share of the lead. I suppose if the forecast is right and we do get some thunder and lightning and a suspension to play, at least we've got the bulk of round 2 out of the way, and I would think we would get, there's the skies that we can see in the distance, and I think we will still, if the forecast is good for the weekend, and that's what it is, and if that's the case, then I think there's every chance we'll get finished on Sunday. Of course, the thunder could pass by us and not come close. This one's got a chance. So he's played 11 holes, he's had 15 putts, he's 3 under. And looking up at the sky, he's on a run, and well, they won't be hanging around out there. To this stage, you're never quite sure. It looked as if it was going to go away to the right, and then back on track and right into the middle of the hole in the end. It's starting to look sort of rather misty as the rush hour traffic. Yeah, it's maybe looking down towards the forests of Versailles. Comes within about 20 miles of us, the klaxons will go. Back at 9, Jacob playing 4. Looks a bit menacing in the distance. It's coming up against the wind. It's ominous. It's also a bit ominous for those of us who are about a few hundred yards from our hotel. See how close the pin of 11 is cut to the front of the green. 3s, by the way, for Rocker and Hurson at 11. Pars at 10 for Peter Baker and Jose Caceres. just drifting a fraction on the wind, but not by much. First, certainly one drop shot for Alex Jacob, first of the day. That was on tape. And this for the bogey 6, and to reach the turn in 32. And I fear the worst storm-wise. Hearing from the course that it's approaching pretty quickly. I'm a little surprised the Caxtons or the Claxtons haven't sounded yet. Now, given decent daylight, we could play probably for 3 hours at least. So it may be that if there's a delay, they'll be back out a little more golf this evening. I remember Colin Montgomery last year at the Volvo PGA when we had a storm break, left his ball on the middle of the 18th fairway, came back after must have been a good couple of hours and replaced it. Hit a 5-iron close and hole for an eagle and went on to win the tournament. Staying at 1 under, but still seeking his first birdie of the day. 12 straight pars now. So Yarmo Sanderlin with a chance of leading. He's got yet another putt for a share of the lead, but will the elements allow him to continue what's in making an excellent round of golf? Let's take a slipping back one, and that's almost like 1.5 shots dropped to take 6 of the par 5. Scott Rowe slipping back now. It's been rather an up and down run. Eduardo Romero, former winner of his title in 91 and 67 today. Shaken out at 10. Bringing you communications via Howard Clark from the course. I'll tell you that he's not one to dally when there's thunder and lightning about. He's already making arrangements for a quick getaway from the course. But the lightning detector that the Tour have is not registering at the moment, so it's possibly pointed in the wrong direction, or maybe it's further away than Howard imagines. News, advance news that they're hoping to play 2 balls tomorrow, but of course if the cut enables more than 78 players to continue participating in this French Open, they will then play in 3s. Remember from this year, start of this year, they raised the cut line from 65 in ties to 70 in ties. The best read and unusual. From the 12th green, it's not too far back to the clubhouse. It's running in the same direction as 9, so Howard and Co could get back fairly quickly. for Rocker, 135 yards. Really doesn't appear to be much wrong at all with the long game. Certainly his driving is very good. Wedge for Monty. It's 129 yards. More anxious looks at the sky, but nobody's spotted any lightning yet. Good save in the end. Everybody just looking around and above. Might pop out for a peek myself in a moment. They'll be playing 3 balls tomorrow if they don't finish round 2 today. Various possibilities to play a U draw, start from 2 tees. The storm is the other side of the aerodrome, and planes are still taking off, which rather bears out the tour officials' line that the storm is a safe distance away at the moment. Peter Baker made a 2 at 11. He's got himself to 1 over now, sharing 71st. So at the moment the cut just on level par. Of course, it may well stay there with both 9s finishing with a par 5. Which means that the goose needs to pick up a couple of shots to be safe. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Law of averages. Bolted in. Getting 5 over now. Back to level par for today, and could easily be 3 or 4 less.
Just the outside edge.
fearsome looking sky.
Excuse me, can you go round? Thanks.
Well, Peter Coleman's fairly confident. That's all Andy's got to do is knock it in. Good team. 54 wins for Peter Coleman, 22 for Colin Montgomery, and it could be Sunset Strip come Sunday if he continues to putt like that. That's 2 in a row, and he's 4 under, and only 5 off the pace now. Shake over a 3, birdie 3 at 10. You can probably hear the thunder yourself there. I wouldn't fancy being on the golf course, and one of our high cameras I'd fancy even less. The view from Seb Beast. Martin out in 38, and still can't buy a birdie. Nobody's sure about the sky.
Okay. Move on over. Move on.
It's, looking out at right, you picture the 15th tee. This is Jose Caseles, second into 12. We made pars at 10 and 11. You can see the 12th, well, in the middle really. That bunker on the left hand side runs all the way down driving distance, then a little bit in between the 2 bunkers, and then turning right for your second uphill. Only round 1 for some reason, probably because it's quite a narrow area between the 2 bunkers with rough cutting as well. It's the hardest fairway to find. Problems as you would expect for Yama Sandlin, mind you, and again only a short club in 438 yards a hole. So what's that? 30 holes played, 29 greens in regulation. Got 2 par 5s to come eventually. It's kind of difficult hole, plenty of water on this par 4, and Angel Cabrera has found someone really wasting no time in dropping and playing. That I suspect will be his 4th. Cole played very well in last year's British Open at Carnoustie. His share of 4th place, just outside of the playoff.
Right, Jack.
It's a pussy willow on the 13th green. Genyama Sanda just seems to have lost his range with the putter. There's 2 holes in the row where he's been wide and then short. Somebody's private jet. I'm an aviation expert, but it's sort of like a Learjet. It's quite a busy airfield, isn't it? Guyancourt. They made a 3 at 12, that's why he's 4 under today. Sanderlin dropping back a shot. Good progress from Carlos Rodiles, who's now 5 under, having reached the turn in 33. Sven Struve, a round of 67 today. It's better from the German. 67 also for former winner Eduardo Romero, who played so well in Girona last week. Share of 3rd place in the Perrier Spanish Open. Alberto Benaghi, 73 today, the overnight leader after her first round 66. Shoveled that right, but he managed to shovel it over the water. Back in the just missed a putt groove. I don't know, maybe Colin Montgomery, unhappy with his putting, possibly playing 2 rounds with Costantino Rock has put it in perspective. Not a bad draw for the Scot. Make it 3 in a row. More rumbles from above. He's got the length. No. Has to be getting closer.
I've never played in a Summers Thunder.
There's John Paramore. He's a man who, in radio contract, he's the man who might have to make the decision to suspend play, which I think might be imminent. Of course, as Rethy Thurston makes the birdie, he won't want a suspension of play. The par 5 to come.
Right, okay.
And just hearing 10 seconds off, so everybody being told, and that gives everybody a chance. It's in the middle of a swing to stop, because once the siren blows, for thunder and lightning, the suspension to play is immediate. No playing out the hole, which under other weather conditions you can do. Just checking around the course that there's nobody actually about to be on the middle of a backswing when the hooter goes. There it is. Looks pretty black, doesn't it? Pretty threatening. Timing. That's well. Peter Baker's going to play. Rather have a putt to come back to than a wedge over water. And David Williams there as well. This is synchronized sound. And they're off. Well, we've done quite well out of that. We've on our world feed from Gulf National on the outskirts of Paris, we've about 10 minutes to run, so we've pretty well seen our full 3 hours. How much more play there will be today is open to debate. As I say, they've probably got 2.5 hours of daylight, reasonable daylight left. It's like about 8 o'clock back home in the UK. We're an hour ahead, so I suppose they could almost go 3 hours if they had to, if the sun was setting and the sky was blue. The 13 is actually walking away from the clubhouse, but that's probably where the cars are. There's a roadway at the back of the 13th green that wends its way down the left-hand side of 14, and then you hang a left and you're headed back towards the clubhouse through alongside 18. But this was yesterday was forecast to arrive a little earlier, so in some ways we've got away with some of it, and although there will be delay, it's not at the moment threatening the duration of the tournament, nor preventing it being decided over the full 72 holes come Sunday afternoon. But of course, if they return this evening and there has been a downpour, playing conditions could be very different. So far this afternoon we've seen plenty of run on the fairway. So for the time being, Fernando Roca and Anders Hansen secure at the top of the leaderboard there. Long finished, as indeed is Jonathan Lomas with that 64, and Michael Campbell with his second round of 66. Roger Davis, Andrew Coulthard also in the clubhouse some time now. Jarmo Sandlin, Alex Chaker out on the course. They're the leading challengers who are still involved in their second round. Roger Vessels at 5 under, around a 70 after yesterday's 69 for Roger. Two birdies at the 14th and 18th. No drop shots at all. Very tidy round from the man from Houghton. Overnight leader Alberto Benaghi is 73. Didn't make the best of starts at the 10th. That was his opening hole. a double bogey. Robin Bird still halfway through his round. Likewise, Joachim Hegman, who almost certainly won't get finished today. He'll be lining up an early start tomorrow. Nicholas Iachimidis, one of a number of French players on 2 under. That's the extent of the home challenge at the moment. It includes Jean van der Velde, who will be disappointed with his round of 74, which included 2 double bogeys at par 5s, the 3rd and the 18th. Jose Caceres playing with Sandlin, also out on the course at the moment. Francisco Sayer, a 67 yesterday, he's dropped 3 shots so far today. Bruno Lucuona, the amateur, and that may be important. Remember, 70 pros and ties go through, so that if there's an amateur there, it will be 71 and ties who make the weekend. It could be that close. Players on 1 under, they're all safely through. No room for error for Darren Lee or Freddie Jakobsen, who have got a long way to go, and 2 under. Slimline Russell Clayton makes it. So does Seve Ballesteros for the first time this season. Brian Davis, a bit of an up and down round. Miguel Martin yet to jot down a birdie in his second round so far, and Olivier Edmonds dropped another shot. You get to level par, 60 and ties on level, including Rafael Jacquelin. It's getting pretty close. At the moment, you see the cut has just slipped back to +1 now. Paul McGinley safely through. Likewise, Alistair Forsyth. See, Des Smith has missed a few cuts already this year. Anxious times for the veteran Irishman. Joe Garrido, who played so well for the first 3 rounds in Morocco, and then fell away. He's got a new driver. He's split in the face of his driver in Marrakesh and hasn't really replaced it. Now here are the men that have some anxious times. Ian Poulter, Van Phillips, Stephen Allen can't leave for the airport. They may well be playing the weekend. In fact, the deterioration in weather and the break will probably help their chances. And the defending champion Retief Husson on the brink. Likewise, Peter Baker and Henny Otto. Jose Rivero won over at the halfway mark. +2s, can't see them going through, so it will be a weekend off. Jared Mosley, Diego Borrego, Rolf Muntz, the winner in Qatar. Richard S. Johnson from Sweden, who's pretty well up on the qualifying score re-ranks. That first re-rank takes place on Sunday and governs the amount of starts that the Tour School graduates will get in the next chunk of the season. Manu Canonica, Richard Green, Barry Lane all looking when the resumption comes to pick up shots. Ian Pyman, no, at least 2 too many. See the cut has slipped to level par. I think coming the end of the day may be +1, but of course you do have to bear in mind the fact that they're both sides of the course finish with a par 5. Justin Rose misses another cut despite a promising first round. Mark Farrell's out as well. And Gordon Brown Jr. And David Carter at the back of the field. 3-hole scoring, so he will have started his second round, but hasn't got very far. Field of 150. So as far as the world is concerned, that's about it. You're not going to see any more live golf. Whether those of us actually here in France get to see any more golf, well, that's up for debate. It's pretty gloomy at the moment. We won't be seeing it via a television monitor. We have to brave and go out on the course, and that would be a rarity. The rain, well, the storm getting close. The rain started to come in. It's about a half a mile from the commentary box to the hotel. So we'll be hoping for a lift. Pity, really. It's been a day where the weather's had the first and final say. We had an hour-and-a-half delay because of fog and mist this morning. And then, of course, the storm, which has been threatening for the best part of an hour, eventually causing a suspension of play. I suspect that whatever happens, even if we get out again this evening. There will be an early start, and round 2 will be completed tomorrow. But what it can tell you is that it's a pretty good looking leaderboard with Micah Campbell right up there, Andrew Coulthard as well, proven winners on the tour. The veteran Roger Davis not far away. Jarmo Sandlin perhaps might lead at the end of round 2, whenever that might be. And of course, when the end came at 4 under, just off that leaderboard, Colin Montgomery making a run, and I wouldn't bet against Monty being within 2 or 3 shots of the lead going into round 3. So there, a final look at the leaderboard for you. Roker and Hansen by 1 from Lomas, and Campbell by 2 from Roger Davis, Andrew Coulthard and Jarmo Sandlin, who's still out on the course, and he's 1 clear of Alex Cheika, who's had an excellent first 9 of 32. And that sadly is where we must leave it. I hope that you can join us tomorrow and indeed on Sunday for what will be a terrific weekend in this old established championship. It'll be round 3 of the Novotel Perrier Open de France tomorrow. Hope you can join me then. Till then, from me, Steve Beddow, goodbye.